And now we begin the Elite Four.
Hello,
First with
and
the
welcome
Steel
to
type.
Episode 28.
And we're going to
I'm
get
Gage,
Steelion.
challenging the
At least that's what I'm going to
Steel
call
type
until we
Elite
actually
Four
get. Maybe it'll be
member. And stay
Metaleon or
tuned to the
something.
end, as
I don't
I'll
know.
be asking for some suggestions for a couple new designs. Real
Some
quick,
poison
though,
types as
in
well
the last
coming after
episode,
this.
You wandered off and accidentally created
A god. Oops. I hate it when I do that.
After defeating it, you are now ready.
Oh, I
to
hate
get
it when I
back to
accidentally
Ceta's
create
lab,
crimes
where
against
Professor
humanity.
Ginkgo is
Oh my
performing
god,
some
you were the evil
dangerous
professor in
research
Pokemon
that must be
Philosopher.
stopped.
Whose name is escaping at the moment, but you know who I am, you know who I'm talking about. If you don't know who I'm talking about, please check out Pokemon
You
Philosopher.
passed down Route 14.
It's good, in my
spotting
opinion.
Primal Caracosta, Dunklefish, Laparcto, and even more Fossage. You actually notice that sections
I can't stop
of the
running into
water
you.
glisten with a strange purple and green shimmer.
Eh.
Something
Somebody needs
going
to clean
on
this
at
place.
The Cenizone lab is
Unless it's
causing
natural.
an unnatural pollution.
It's
The
an
lab
oil
is
spill.
an
Maybe it's
even
from us playing
larger
God back
floating
there.
research station. And luckily, a Poke Beacon waits for you at the entrance.
What do you
so
know?
can
Creating
keep
a crime
it.
against Pokemon
You
and a
visit
giant
an upper
explosion
level where you
isn't good
find
for the
Professor Ginkgo's office.
climate.
The professor is nowhere to be seen, but you make another bizarre discovery. Floating in the center of the room is a large ball of pulsing ooze.
Oh boy.
It's dripping into some sort of collection vat, and you read through some of the professor's notes and realize that this is the original dormant legendary Pokemon that they had discovered.
Oh wow, it's like the
and helped
cocoon
them
of
return
Yavato,
life
or
to
the
the
tree
Phoenix
of
region. You
Xerneas.
wish that you had more time to investigate, but you head back downstairs to find Professor Ginkgo before it's too late.
Stop
The
this
lab
madness
has
right now!
4 research sections and a centrally located elevator that must lead below the surface. Unfortunately, when you attempt to use the elevator, a lab-wide alarm sounds.
Of
All
course.
of the exits from the lab seal shut around you. You
No.
notice that the control panel to the elevator requires a level 12 access code.
I don't have
A
that!
figure barrels down the hallway and nearly knocks you
Hey!
off your feet.
You!
Whoa.
There's not
I
time
don't
for
know
a
what you
battle!
did, but I barely made it in before you put this place into lockdown. Congrats on beating me here, but what's going on? What do you mean the professor is working with potentially dangerous legendary Pokemon?
Yeah, the professor!
Normally,
She's
I would
evil!
take this opportunity to challenge you to a battle, but we better figure out how to get down.
Alright, you have 4
Yeah, like,
sections
this is not the
to
time or
explore
the place. That'd be like Gary
arbitrarily
attacking us
pick
in
a
the
door
St.
and
Anne.
run
Like,
through it.
not now, pal!
Everything here is made out of polished chrome. Tim,
Everything's
the
chrome in the
type
future.
researcher, looks up from a welding project.
I never thought the professor's new assistant would make it this far.
You're evil
Care
too?
to show me if you fully comprehend the resilience of my steel-type Pokemon?
Tim leads with his Rampardos, followed up by his Bastiodon. Next up, his Theraslice cuts through much of your team.
Ah,
But luckily, his next Pokemon is just a teeny tiny dumb little Dodoy. Unfortunately for you, when you knock it out, you get to meet its evolution.
oh, great.
Now, we ran
I guess
into
the Dodoys and
Dodoy
they're just like,
a very long
we
time
ran
ago,
out of steel
and
types, so
now we're
you.
finally gonna get to its evolution. A couple of you
I thought
guessed
Dodoy was
that
gonna
it
be a
could turned
standalone, to be
into a
honest.
terror bird. You know, we're kind of treating Dodoy as the region's Magikarp, so it's going from completely useless to a
Oh, boy.
real powerhouse.
I think
If you
every region
haven't
has
heard
a
of the
magic
various
carp, which is
species
like, that's a cliche,
commonly
I'm fine
referred
with them
to as terror
continuing. I
birds,
like that cliche.
These were massive terrestrial birds that hunted in the scrublands of South America. These things did not mess around. They could
No.
screw you up big time.
Look at the size
So,
of that
It
thing.
felt like a good fit for
Well,
a
I
Dodoy
assume
to
it's
mature
really
into.
big, but you know,
You may have
I'm
also
assuming it's like
guessed from the
ostrich
axe
emu
shape
size.
of the beak here that it's gaining the steel typing. And actually, we're going to be knocking out one of the few unused type combinations.
Oh?
Normal steel.
Oh, great.
Now, the typing doesn't initially sound great, what with both of those types being weak to fighting, but I came
We
up
gotta
with an
balance it,
ability
right?
That compensates for that. That steel typing also lets the talons on the feet and the single claw digits on the little wings be more deadly means of attack. The color palette is mostly from Dodoy with some cool blues to help balance things out. And because of the overall shape of this design, I could not resist making the shiny orange, you know, like a chocobo. All right,
That's nice.
let's meet
I'm okay with that.
Terraxa,
Chocobos are
the
cool.
axe-beak
Okay, the
Pokemon.
original color is better than the
Doi
shiny, in my
who
opinion.
learn how to fend for themselves
I
and
like the
survive
more
long
steel
enough
look than
may
that
evolve into
freaking
this
bronze.
terrifying flightless bird. Terraxa can be seen gently picking on Doi in the wild.
Hey,
While this
I'm
behavior
Revolution,
appears
biatch!
malicious, researchers suspect the Terraxa are trying to toughen up their little pre-evolution forms. Few
Oh, it's
Pokemon
training,
are
of course.
foolish enough
I'm
to
attacking you
challenge their
because I love
sharp
you.
beak and claws. Its ability is something new. I'm calling it high ground. Because it's a bird, but it doesn't fly, but also it's really tall and can jump really high. It's basically gaining the defenses of a flying type. So this Pokemon takes half damage from flying and ground type
Fighting,
moves.
misspeak.
Terraxa.
Alright, that
it's
makes it better.
Like a truck. I mean, it messes up
I really like
most
the
of
design,
rest of
especially
your
that steel
When
thing
you
as a
do
beak.
finally
Just
face this
imagine doing the
terrifying
cliche
bird,
of the
Tim sends out
no, sorry, the
final
ostrich slamming its
Pokemon.
head into the ground.
Another
Instead, this
evolution.
happens. It's like,
And
dogs!
dang, y'all, this one was tough. These last few evolutions are ones that I hadn't really given much thought to before.
Saving the hardest
Much
for
of the
last.
earlier designs, they've just been rattling around in my head for a while, but these later ones, I never got to do any early sketches of or anything like that. So, yeah, Steel. I thought this would be easy to figure out. The problem is...
But the answer is
that,
no.
I've seen a good amount of Steel-type Eevees, but I never really found myself liking them that much.
Eevee, but
They
a
were
robot.
Either an Eevee in like a literal suit of armor,
Yeah.
like a knight's helmet and everything, or
Which is cool.
the tail is
I
like
like
a
knight's
mace
armor.
or a sword blade.
That's
I think
also
these
cool.
can look cool, but they often just feel too gimmicky and complex.
I mean,
I was
fair.
really striving to have this design look like it fits in with even the simpler evolutions.
So
like
you turned him into
Steel
a
and
robot. You
Umbra.
know, that actually kind of works. I can
So,
buy the robotic
We're gonna
aesthetic.
give it some metal plating.
It is
but
funny that it
not
turns into a
that's
robot, but that's okay.
drastically changing the silhouette. It can be clean and simple, and instead, I can let the pose also communicate the typing and personality. All right, this is Galvion. The
Galvion.
plated
That's a good
Pokemon.
name.
This steel-type evolution sports gleaming metal plating
I love its
that
eyes.
makes it a defensive and offensive threat.
Gives it like
Galvion
a
are
more
often
cybernetic
stoic,
look. It's
opting
probably
to
not
calmly
supposed to be a
watch
robot,
others
but
and
that's just
analyze
how
any
I'm
potential
looking at
danger.
it.
They strive to protect anyone in need, and their independence can lead them to traveling alone to help other Pokemon. Trainers who manage to befriend this Pokemon will find a loyal companion. And its ability is Anticipation, and that just kind of comes from its personality that lets it shudder whenever the opponent has a super effective attack. Tim's
Okay.
resilient Galvion puts
That
up one
doesn't
heck
do
of a fight,
anything
but
to
you do
me.
manage to take it down.
It's like,
I haven't
okay
had a
then, I
battle
guess.
like that in ages. You and your Pokemon are certainly made of some tough stuff.
You know, I
Give me
was
that
wrong.
ID
I'm gonna
badge.
reform myself.
You deserve this.
You're feeling
The nobility
after
overrode
getting
it.
past your first
Imagine
elite
just being like,
format,
give me that ID
and
badge.
you're ready
Nyeh,
to take
breaks
on
it.
another. In the next episode, that is. But before we go,
Wait,
I have a request to make of you. I
okay.
need suggestions for 2 new
Well, it's too
Pokemon.
late for me now.
I've gotten a couple of requests
But I'll
to
hear
do
you
a
out.
video series on how to create Fakemon, and I would love to use some of your ideas to do so. Now, I'll reveal
So that'll
these
probably be the
final
poison type
Pokemon
thing.
and thank the contributors before the end of the Pokemon Amber series, but I won't be releasing the how-to videos until after everything's wrapped up, because I
I
want to
see.
make sure that I have the time to make them as informative as possible. So, here's what I need from you. I am wanting to make a 2-stage line that fits in the Palean region. That means extinct animals and prehistoric concepts in whatever forms you can come up with. The types are pretty balanced in the region,
Okay.
so there's no limitation on typing.
Of
I'm
course.
just really looking forward to hearing your ideas.
I might
that's
check that one
Uh,
out,
Thank you
maybe.
so much for watching, and please
It
leave a
is
like
kind
if
of
you
interesting to
enjoyed this
learn
video.
like how this stuff is
As
made,
always,
especially as,
I'd love
as
to
a
hear your
non-artist
thoughts on today's
myself, how the
episode
heck
down in
you
the
do
comments
this
below,
stuff, you
along
know?
with your
I
suggestions.
struggle at stick
A
figures.
huge thank you to Tim for being
I
our
could probably be a
Steel-type
better
Only member.
drawer if I put
Tim
my
actually
mind
has
to
his
it,
own
but
channel, Tim Prism,
No.
where he plays through some very entertaining games, so be sure to pop over there and check out
thanks
his
for the
stuff.
help out. Good guy.
And Adam as well. He's been such a good rival so far.
Mm.
Okie doke. I'll see you in the next bonus episode, where we'll be finishing up with some of your previous suggestions for 3-stage designs. Alright, bye.
It is good to hear, I guess, you know... Let me try this again. it's good that we're following up on Ginkgo and what your evil plan was and stuff like that. Like, we're actually stalking her down, and I guess she's like the Elite Four or evil, or at least working for Ginkgo and unknowingly doing evil things. I don't know. And maybe they're just like, we don't know that she's evil, so thank you for letting us see the light. Here, let us help you. It's probably one of those things, but see that she's closer to her final form than we thought. I guess the reason she's getting all these floating rocks is just like, okay, I need to collect them all at the Zygarde cells and in the Sun and Moon games in order to complete the final ultimate pinnacle form. And since we got some of those rocks, it's just like, thank you for bringing them all here to me. Now die, or something like that. Once you make a response. But yeah, I like the Doy evolution, especially with that steel head thing. It's just like, dodge, 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 run over that thing. It's got a butcher's knife for a head. Freaking run! This is like, it's kind of Chainsaw Man-y in a way. And the Galvion was cool too. It's probably not supposed to be like a robot, but just that's what I see when I look at it. I just think robot. But that's just me. Hey, I think those are both really cool designs and really cool stuff to see overall. So yeah. Alright, I'm not going to waste too much time. We still got a poison type video to get to. So let's get into it right after this. Bye. And now we inject Pokemon Amber with a lethal dose of poison.
To another bonus episode. I'm
Well,
Gabe,
your
and
poison
today
anyway,
we'll be
not
filling in
ours.
some much-needed three-stage designs with your ideas.
Okay.
Now, the initial prompt was from way back in September, but I got so many good ideas from it that
Which is even
I
longer
had to
ago when you
break up
consider
the designs
when this
into
is
three
coming out.
parts, and we'll
Or
finally
actually,
be
right.
knocking out the last of them here. Okay,
Okay.
let's take a look at the first suggestion from Impish.
Oh
Delusion.
god, that's not a comment, that's a
It
book
is
report.
So good. Basically, he suggested that we do an origin to the dragon type. He pointed me towards some really interesting speculative biology, which is kind of my thing, and also hinted that getting a true amphibious origin, kind of like the Charmander line, would be pretty neat. So let's give that a shot. If we're gonna go amphibious,
So we're gonna
we
get
just
like an origin
have
for
to
the
start out with a little
Charmander line.
tadpole.
Interesting.
Since this will be evolving into something
I wouldn't actually even
dragon-like
become
in the
poison
end,
at the
I
beginning.
wanted to make sure that it started out pretty adorable and
But
unassuming.
Charizard isn't even a
The
dragon
main
until
design
it mega
elements here
evolves.
are the external gills. The
In
external
X
placement of the
form.
gills is going to be extremely important as we progress towards a dragon body plan, and it's a fun bit of speculative evolution as well. These external gills are also just stinking cute. I mean,
True.
it looks like
I
this little
agree.
guy is wearing like a headband or silly little earmuffs.
Reminds me a little
the
bit of
color
the Dragon
palette
Maids. in
Ended
Yu-Gi-Oh!
up this
Like
purple,
laundry,
mainly
for
because the
example.
Palean region is lowest on poison types.
Yep.
And a toxic amphibian line felt right too. Oh, and the shinies for this line are going to be the same colors as the Charmander line.
Oh, really?
Since, you know, it's also an amphibian dragon line.
Look how
The
big
big
that one
difference
frog is
between
next to
the
the
two
other
being
frog
that
in the
I'll be
know,
justifying that transition to
inspiration
dragon a little bit
and
more.
so on stuff.
Okay, let's learn about this squishy little goober. Here is Gilzel, the tadpole Pokemon.
I would not think these
This
things
small
became
amphibian
Charmander. I mean,
excretes
it's a
a
cool
poisonous
idea, but it's
film
also
from
like,
its skin
no.
as a defense mechanism.
Well, okay, may not know, but I'm
Gilzel
gonna need some
constantly
more.
wiggle their large
orange,
external
but the color's
gills
for it,
around
right?
to circulate fresh water past them and not reabsorb too much of their own toxins. They are quite clumsy out of the water, but do their best to walk
Let's see
on
if
their
this can
tiny
explain
legs.
how if its fire
And
goes
its
out,
ability
it
is
dies.
water absorb, so that means it will
Yet in
restore
the
HP if
anime,
hit
or
by
at
a
least
water type move.
Origins, it can
It's
go
pretty
into a
darn cute,
freaking pool
and
full of water,
I
and
can't
the fire's
help but
still burning
imagine
just
it
right.
fluttering its little ear gills whenever it gets excited. Okay, but it needs to evolve. We're going to bring in an additional bit of inspiration for this middle stage. There is a colossal
hell?
prehistoric frog called the Beezle Bufo that I was
Huh.
just looking for a way to work
So
into
that's where
things.
the
And
card came from.
this
in
middle
Yu-Gi-Oh!
stage is
again.
just perfect for it. It will be maintaining a little bit of tail since it needs that in the final form, but other than that, it gets to be just a big round meanie.
Charizard's a frog.
The
Interesting.
puffy little eyes of Gilzel turn into these where the eyes kind of have bags under them to help sell the sickly poison type.
For me, it's
The
because I don't get
external
enough
gills
sleep.
have also developed into larger display structures with more mobility.
LED.
Interesting, yes, interesting. The colors, again, nice and poisony, with the shiny now getting Charmeleon vibes. All right,
A bit
let's
more,
learn
sure.
about Gilzufo.
It's a
the
top spike
poison
mostly
toad
because
Pokemon.
Charmeleon has that
This
spike
ancient
thing at its
toad
back of its
retains
head.
its external gills and now uses them as a warning display. Gilzufo wiggle their gills as menacingly as they are able to. They prefer to sit in shallow swamps and leap up towards any bug-type Pokemon who flies too close.
Okay.
Its ability remains water absorb.
I like to
I'm
imagine it
sure
can fly
it
with those
is
tiny
slimy,
things.
but
It can't,
just
but I
wanna
like to
pat
imagine.
this little jerk on its head. I also, wish I could see it, just jumping straight up and fluttering its little gill appendages.
Right?
In fact, that activity in particular is what helps it evolve. Now, we get to
But
have
at practice,
a much more
was this some
familiar
bag-on
silhouette.
stuff?
The gills
Whoa!
are now fully
That
developed
head.
into functional wings.
Typhlosion.
The body is still a bit stubby to show that it's basically a salamander, and the snout in particular is rather short since, it was recently a snub-nosed little frog. I thought about adding the dragon typing, but decided to keep things, again, close to the Charmander line again, so instead of dragon, it'll be gaining the flying type. It is the ancestor to dragon type, so
Hey,
its descendants
glow
will
up.
become true dragons. Alright, let's meet Beelzebile, the proto-dragon.
And it's still
Pokemon.
not a dragon!
This strange winged salamander
So I
seems
think
to
the
be the
Charizard
ancestor
goes
to
better
many
on, to be
modern
honest.
dragon-type Pokemon.
isn't
Beelzebile's
bad, just I
large
prefer,
gills have become powerful wings, allowing it to sail through the skies with ease. Trainers should be wary as it still secretes poison from its skin, and its ability, again, still water absorb. It's a good start to the dragon lines, if I do say so myself.
I agree.
But you'll have to let me
They
know
look good.
what you think of these amphibians.
Kind of like what if
Would you
Charmander
put the
and
weak little
Goodra
Gilzel
had
on
a
your team to get
related origin, I
Beelzebile
guess.
in the end? Alright, we're halfway through and have another set
I
of
swear
suggestions
Goodra
to
should
look
have
at.
been part water,
Brendan
not pure
Turnbridge,
dragon, but that's my
Damian
opinion.
Blake, and Douster all suggested we get a Dilophosaurus in here. Pretty neat. Brendan in particular said a primal form of Helioptile would be really interesting, and I couldn't agree
Okay.
more.
I like
When it
that
evolves,
idea.
it will have a more developed
Helioven.
frill than normal. So starting off, the cute little ears will just need to be a bit wider.
If it's spikier.
Also, didn't want to overcomplicate the design, but I also didn't want it to read as just a simple palette swap. So, along with some little shapes on its back, we're adding these cute little eyebrow ridges. We'll eventually need to get to those iconic crests of the Dilophosaurus, so this is a good way to start. As far as the color palette goes, this Helioptile hasn't mastered harnessing solar energy as effectively, as its modern counterpart, so I wanted it to look like it's just all sunburnt. And this color palette works really well for that.
I like that idea.
Here is Primal Helioptile.
It's a fire type.
The baking
Kind of reminds me of
Pokemon.
Sandalite in a way.
This ancient form of the familiar electric type does harness sunlight, but only to raise the temperature of its body. Primal Helioptile lets its flat ears bake in the sun and can refocus that heat into powerful blasts of fire from its mouth. This Pokemon is quite sweet, but often a bit too liberal with its use of fire. Its ability is Solar Boost, and that's pretty similar to its normal ability, but instead of boosting the special attack stat, it boosts the attack. And I like that it's, dangerous, but still a little sweetie. Even enjoying how the little head crests kind of look like a little bow.
Yeah, I like to imagine we use that
let's see
thing
what
to like
happens when
shade
it evolves.
itself.
Now,
I
we're
guess
going to be getting into the territory of the familiar Jurassic Park Dilophosaurus. And before anyone says, yes, of course, I am aware that the Dilophosaurus from the Jurassic Park series is very different from the real
What's
animal.
that? Jurassic
just
Park
for
was
now, we'll be
wrong
sticking
about
with it. It
dinosaurs?
also works
Tell me
particularly
something
well
I
for a
don't
design
know.
that spits fire, and as it
Look, we
now
know
has
it's
gained
wrong.
the
Doesn't
poison
mean we
typing,
have to hate the
spits
series
poison as
now.
well. I will be keeping the body shape mostly the same, though we will be extending the eyebrow
By that logic,
ridges
we have
on
to hate
Helioptile
Godzilla movies
into
because
proper
there's
crests,
no actual giant
and giving
nuclear
the open
dinosaurs.
frill a little bit more definition. I mean, I had to really resist the urge to make the frill too complicated.
Although it's fun the
especially
idea
since,
that like
you know, this line
Jurassic
has to
Park
evolve
inspired
again.
people
It did
to
take
grow
a
up and
bit of
become
time
like,
to land
you know,
on
archaeologists
appropriate
and
colors,
find
you know,
out that,
each to
oh
read
wait,
as
that's
fire
wrong.
and poison type, but also kind of pay
Never meet your
homage to the
heroes or
Jurassic
something like that, I
Dilophosaurus
guess.
Design. Took a while, but we got there. Oh, and I'm sure you saw before, but the shinies are the modern line's colors. Okay,
Of course.
let's see Primal Heliolisk, the baking Pokemon.
Dude.
Not satisfied with the temperatures that the sun can provide, this determined fire type regularly ingests caustic materials in hopes of increasing their power. Because of this dangerous habit, Primal Heliolisk is filled with toxic chemicals, which it has learned to spit at opponents with extreme accuracy. And its ability remains Solar Boost. It's pretty fun. I like it. But I can hear you say, where could it possibly go from there?
Go. It's gonna
Well,
go even further
Let's
beyond.
have our Dilophosaurus turn into something that is more accurate. First off, the real Dilophosaurus was much bigger.
Of
so
course.
it's gonna be, bigger.
Huh. Sometimes they're
Secondly,
smaller.
There's no fossil evidence that it had an extendable neck frill. I mean, it's not impossible, just highly, highly unlikely.
Not
The same
impossible,
goes for
highly
spitting
unlikely.
venom. So we're gonna downplay those a little bit here, especially the neck frill.
But the spitting
But
venom
also
was
for the
kind of
real
cool.
Dilophosaurus, the head crest was likely a display structure and possibly had extremely bright
I like how he
colors.
went. The
There's also a
evolution
decent
goes
chance
from
that,
Jurassic Park
like most dinosaurs,
science at the time
it
to
had at
you
least
know
some
modern
form of
science.
proto-feathering or quills.
Wouldn't it be funny
fact,
as if we go further
we
on
have
in
yet
science,
to
like, and learn
have a
more and more
design
about the
with some
dinosaurs? It actually turns out, oh wait,
real
no, Park
flamboyant
was
display
right.
feathering.
We're
That the
full of
dinosaurs
it.
may have
I'm
had.
not
So,
saying that would happen.
now
I'm just
it's as
saying
good a time as
imagine, you
ever.
know?
The design came together pretty quickly, especially after I threw in those large feather quills, but the colors kicked my butt for a while.
I can tell.
Finding the perfect balance of dark features.
Designing a Pokemon
warning
that looks
display
just
colors
right
was
is
tough,
a lot
but
harder than you
we
think.
eventually
And I
got
can tell just by you
Alright.
drawing it.
Here
Like, this
is
went through a lot of
Heliophyr,
beta
the
stages.
baked Pokemon.
Fully
This
baked.
predator uses
Dude.
brightly colored feathers to warn others from approaching. Though quite
It kinda
colorful,
reminds me of
Heliophyr is an effective predator
from Gen
as
7.
it is able to strike prey with flaming toxins from so far away that they are rarely seen before the prey is hit. And its ability, again, still Solar Boost. It's pretty terrifying, but
It's a
maybe
bit
it
of
could
Salazzle
still be
in
your
there
friend.
too, fire poison. But
Let
that's
me
not a
know
bad
what
thing.
you think
Salaz-
of this
the
Primal
Salazzle line is kinda
Helioptile
cool.
line and its new third stage.
Except for the
I
fact
had
that it's got a
blast
reverse
working
harem
with your
for one,
suggestions
according to
on
one of the
these new
Pokédexes.
designs.
And
You can
two,
always count on
why
your
is it
nerds
only the
to
girls can
inspire me
evolve?
with
I don't have a
just really
like, I don't know,
amazing
it's just weird to be
concepts.
I don't know.
Well, with
Could have
that,
had a school
I
evolution
just
where
wanted
men
to
go
thank
into
you
one thing
for
and girls go
watching,
into
and
another, like we need a
please
Ran,
leave
you
a
know,
like if you enjoyed the
Net
video.
Cock, I need a Ran line,
As
but,
always, I'd
what
love
are
to
you
hear your
gonna
thoughts on the episode down in the comments below, and I'll see you in episode 29, where we will be taking on the Ghost-type Elite Four
do? It's like
member.
a wheezing.
Bye!
Interesting. I like these new designs. The Charizard preliminary line is one where it's like, I don't know, but again, it's ancestors, so it just feels weird they go from poison to fire. But the Charizard form is like, okay, yeah, I can see it there. Oh, it's just like, I'm gonna take your word for it that this is Charmander and Charmeleon, but then you see the Zard, it's like, nope, that's him, yeah. No doubt. All questions removed. And the Heliolisk line was kind of cool to see too. They didn't really change too much with time. They're kind of like the real thing, except they lost in evolution with time. But I guess that it is kind of weird if they do that in the games where it's like, here's this brand new evolution for this Pokemon. Like, I heard that Primeape got an evolution. It's like, that's fantastic. You're giving him support. So why wasn't in this in the other games? And the answer is, well, because I haven't thought of it yet, obviously. But it's just one of those where it's just like, why did you lose evolutions? Why can't Golbat evolve into Crobat in Gen 1? Why can't Togetic evolve into Togekiss in Gen 2? It's a time thing, you know, they change with time. And you know, as long as they're giving support to old stuff, it's like, that's how they do it. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Prints out more cards, Pokemon just makes another evolution or some moveset and stuff. They go their own different ways. It's always good to see, like, you know, Forgotten gets support. Yeah, it's Gen 1 support again, but it's also like, Primeape kind of needed it. I don't think anyone was bitching when Primeape got support. Or a new form, whatever the frig. It was cool to see the Halo things. Like they lost their fire. They've had the sun too long, and then when we get to like Gen 6, it's like they're used to it. Isn't that like their kind of inspiration to it? Just like they just lived in the sun for so long, it's like now it's our power source or whatever. It is kind of funny that they just got used to the climate. They adapted with time. There's a storytelling thing here. I like that idea a lot. And the Charizard has just got stopped being frogs and started being more lizards. And yes, frogs are part of the lizard, you know, well, they're reptiles. They're both reptiles, but you know, they change a bit more over time. Yeah. I kind of wish they could be like, okay, so why do they die if their fire goes out? But yeah, they don't try to explain that. Even the anime isn't consistent with that. The fire makes their life force go out when that's good for drama. Otherwise, it's like not a factor. That could be in a freaking ocean of water and the fire was still burning nice because the plot says it does. One of those things that's funny looking back though. Also funny when it was like there was that Smash trailer revealed thing where it's like I don't remember which one, but it was Villager was revealed and like during the one of the trailers, it started sprinkling water over an asleep Charizard or something. It's like, that's gonna put the tail up! You're trying to murder that son of a gun! Look, I'm Elementar's Charizard support as much as the next guy, but this is a little extreme. But yeah, a lot of cool new designs in this one, cool new Pokemon, and yeah. We missed these when they're gone, but they're gonna be gone at some point, so yeah. Cool new Pokemon, cool new designs, cool new ancestors, and cool things to see all around. So, yeah. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.